Okay, so what we want to do next is we actually want to use Excel to create some graphs. And we are going to first create some histograms and then a dot plot and then answer some examples or answer some questions. We're going to be using the same NCAA soccer data again, so you want to open up that same document that I've shared with you. And this time go to sheet 2, and I've got a little bit of extra information here that's needed when you're going to make a histogram. So we are going to make a histogram first with bin with 3 and then, with 2 first, then 3, and then 1. So we can kind of compare and contrast how changing those bin widths changes what the graph looks like. I'm going to minimize that so that we can see our commands over here. First, you want to get your data into Excel, which it's already here, and our data is in fact in column A. And then what you have to do is you have to decide what you want your upper limits on each bin to be, and you have to type those into another column. First, whenever I decided I was going to do bin widths of 2, I thought just counting by 2s then from 10 to 36 would be great upper bin limits, because 9 could go into a bin that has an upper limit of 10. And then we could just move on up from there. And notice I had to go up, I couldn't stop at 34 because I have a data value of 35. So I had to go up high enough to actually give that 35 somewhere to go. Same thing then when I was thinking of width of 3, I thought I'm going to start this top one at 12 because the 9, 11, and 12 can all go in there, and then just go ahead and count on up. Actually, I might need to add another width here because maybe I should add another one here. Maybe I should go ahead and add 9 as an upper limit there. That way I'm not doing more than 3 values all in a single bin. And then if I wanted to do with 1, I basically have to give all values from 9 to 36 to give every one of these values somewhere to go. So that's something that you have to decide on your own, and it might be something that you try a few different things to see what you like. But these are the upper limits that I've decided on. Once you have those decided on, you want to go to Data, to go to the Data tab and to Data Analysis. Choose Histogram off of that list. You have to give it an input range. That's going to be your actual data values. So mine actually came up appropriately here, but if that doesn't pre-populate, what you want to do is put your cursor in here and then highlight all of your original data values, and that will put those in there appropriately. And then in the bin range, you want to give it whatever your upper limits are for your bins. So again, if it didn't pre-populate, you would want to click your cursor inside here and then highlight all of your upper limits. I believe the default is that this will be printed out or given to you on a new tab or a new worksheet, but I don't want to switch tabs, so I chose output range, and then I'm just going to click for my output range, click over here so that it puts this information that I'm getting ready to create over to the side a little bit. Choose the chart output. We want a chart as our output, and then hit OK. Oh no, histogram bin. Oh, whoops. Okay, so I accidentally messed that up. I need to fix this. Okay, put those back in there. And here we go. So it gives us a frequency table, and it gives us the histogram. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. The only thing that you must change, there's all kinds of things you could do to make this look differently. You can change the colors and change the bars and stuff like that. But what you need to do to make it a true histogram is you need to right-click on one of the bars, say Format Data Series, and then change the gap width to 0. Bars touch in a histogram, so we want to get rid of all of those gaps. And now we have a nice histogram here, and what you can see is, for instance, it says in the bin with the upper limit 10, there's supposed to be 1 entry, and we can see that here. And in the bar with the 12 upper limit, there should be 5, and if I hover over here, it actually tells me that, and I can see that that goes up to 5. Okay, so let's go ahead now and do this again, but do it with the bin width of 3 and see how that gives us a different visual. So I just need to go to data analysis again, histogram again. This gave me my correct input range. I believe after you do it once, it might save, but if not, then for your input range, you want to highlight these data values again. This time I need new bins though, so I'm going to click in there and give it my new bins. I need to tell it where to put this graph, so I'm going to click in the output range and just say, okay, put it down here below. So for me, that's F17. I just want it somewhere below the current one. And chart output again, make sure that's clicked. Here's my new histogram. I'm going to do the same thing here where I right click and get rid of that gap. So here's what we see for this second one. So we can see definitely that by changing it to 3, that it has lumped a lot of stuff together, and I'm maybe missing a little bit of shape here. I'm missing this fact that it kind of dipped down in this 1718 area and then back up again in the 1920s. Now a lot of that gets lumped in together, so I don't really see that anymore. I can still see that that 35 value out here is an outlier. Okay, so last one we want to do is with bin width of 1. So do it again, data analysis, histogram, still the same data in the input range, but I need my bins to be new bins. And where am I going to put this? I want to put this one below again, so I'm just going to say down here. Okay. Here's my last histogram. Now right click on one of these, format data series, get rid of those gaps. And there's that last histogram. So what you can kind of see here, what this demonstrates is, see how messy this gets and kind of hard to read because of all the ups and downs and ups and downs. That's sort of the danger of too small of bins. It tells me a lot of information because every one of these is individual. I can look at this graph and tell you that there were exactly 4 11s and only 1 12. Whereas in this one, the 11s and the 12s are all lumped in together and it says, well, there are 5 total of those. So if I only have this image, I don't know what in there is an 11 and what in there is a 12. I can't distinguish that. All I know is that there's 5 total entries in that one bin. So I get the most information from the smaller bins, but at a certain point, they just get a little bit hard to look at. And then I can lose too much information if my bins get too wide. So this is where it's a bit of a delicate balance. And you will either be told what to use or you will have to just kind of decide that for yourself, and you may have to give an explanation of why you picked the bin size that you did. Okay, so let's see. There are a couple, I believe, questions. We're not going to answer the questions yet. We will answer the questions about this data after we make the dot plot next.